Well, good evening. It's Dr. B. And once again, I'll be helping kids at the school uh, with their reading. Um, I want to give everyone right now what I think is the most important lesson of the year. Okay, it's a real short lesson, but it's just so very important. I'll do a share screen here, and let's have a look at what this is about. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, I don't know if any of you have ever heard this saying, an elephant never forgets. Okay. But that's why I'm using an elephant here, because an elephant remembers. And as a reader, you should read to remember. Okay. Now, there's two kind of books out there that you've been reading. There are fiction books and nonfiction. Well, what should you remember about fiction books? The big answer is characters. So if I ask you in class, the first thing I'm looking for is, what do you remember from fiction books? Characters. Now, there's more to it than that. We're going to do a story map later on in the year, and you're going to find out all the different things that you remember. It's especially about what the characters do, how they solve their problems, what their goals are. There's more to it than just characters. But the big thing for the start of the year here is, if you're in a fiction book, some people call those storybooks, remember the characters. So what do you remember from fiction books? The characters. By the way, I'm going to come back and ask you that in a minute or two. Let's see if you can remember it. Ooh, listen to remember, huh? Okay. Nonfiction books, the books that kind of just give a lot of facts. Well, that's what you want to remember, the facts. Either the new facts, if you're reading along this fiction book and you came along I didn't know that before. Well, that's something to remember. And if you knew everything in the book, and that can happen sometimes, then the most interesting thing to tell your friends about. So when I'm going to be asking you from time to time, anytime I have you reading things, I'm going to be asking you, what do you remember from your fiction book? You remember the characters. What do you remember from your nonfiction book? You remember the facts. And we're going to do story maps and other kinds of mappings and learn how to take good notes and the rest on both those kinds of stories. But right now, the lesson is read to remember. Now let's stop this share. Okay. One word answers here. I just need one word. What one thing do I want you to remember from any fiction book or any storybook? What's the one thing? I'll give you a hint. It starts with CH. Character. What's the one thing I want you to remember from nonfiction books? I'll give you a little hint. It starts with F. Facts. Okay, so that, believe it or not, if you're really reading your stories, like in your RAS Kids assignments and other kinds of assignments, if you actually read them and you're reading them with the thought, I'm going to remember at least these two key things, then your reading scores are going to get better all the time. So, final thought here, read to remember, and I'll be seeing you soon, either in class or small group. All right, bye-bye.